Okay, so one, just thank you so much to McSilver for this honor, and it's just been my pleasure to learn a bit more about all of my co-honorees. It is an amazing class, and it does your heart good to know that there are so many people who care about the things that are important in our society and are dedicating their lives to working on them. So I have to beg forgiveness, Chancellor, because something is on my heart right now. And I was sitting down and I was wondering, should I make us uncomfortable in this moment? And whenever I feel like that, I think about Ida B. Wells, my spiritual godmother, and I say, what would she do? And she would say, if there was something on her heart in a room like this, that we need to steer into that discomfort. So of course we know that today, the numbers came out for admissions into our specialized high schools. And most of you may know me for the 1619 Project, but I spent most of my career writing about educational inequality, about school segregation. My daughter is in an unscreened public middle school in Brooklyn because I actually believe all of our children are worthy of the same quality of education and that we shouldn't screen children out of public schools. So I just, I tweeted about this a few months ago that my daughter's school is offering tutoring for students. My daughter goes to a high poverty segregated Black and Latino school, and they were offering tutoring so that kids might have a chance at the specialized high school exam, which of course you all know we're the only place in the entire country that admits students into our top public high schools by virtue of a single exam that doesn't care about your educational record, it doesn't care how hard you worked in middle school, it doesn't care about any of that. It cares on how well you can perform on a single exam, which is immoral. So my daughter and her group of friends decided that they were going to take this tutoring. And then they did what intelligent, bright kids will do. They looked up the high schools and the tests. And they said Black kids don't get into those schools. So most of her friends decided they weren't going to take the tutoring because it seemed like there would be no purpose in taking the tutoring because they know how many Black kids are in New York City public schools, they know how many Black kids take the test, and they know how many Black kids get into those schools. Now my daughter, of course, is my daughter, so I said, well, you said you were going to do it, you're going to do it. But I was deeply hurt by that because it's exactly what you said, Jeff. Our kids get the message, right? So we tell our kids, you're capable of anything, you can do anything you want, and then we put them in schools that give them the exact opposite message. Then we set up boundaries for them, and I've heard people say, we can't have all of our kids in these type of schools or they won't be good anymore. Well, I actually think all of our kids can be in those types of schools and deserve to be in those types of schools. So I wasn't coming up here to talk about that, but it's just on my heart, and I have to say, we live in a great and unequal city. And my work has been targeted by conservatives. And so a lot of times I sit in progressive rooms like this and everyone feels so proud because they feel like they're on the right side of things and they support the right issues, while we live in a city that has so much wealth and so much poverty at the same time. Where we live in a school where Black children remain the most segregated group of kids in the city, residentially, and in terms of school, and in terms of going to schools with high poverty and lack of resources. So let's not pat ourselves on the back too much. Let's look ourselves in the eye and say, how can a city have this much wealth and yet allow this much poverty and this much injustice under people who say they're on the right side of things? So that's going to be the end of my speech. I hope you feel... Listen, and I say this with great respect, but I didn't get this megaphone to get in front of power and be quiet. That's not why I'm here. I hope that we will see fit one day in the city not to accept the things that we accept and not to replicate the past injustices. I became a journalist because I understood one thing fundamentally from when I was 11 years old and got my first letter to the editor published in my local paper. Narrative drives policy. Okay? So we accept what we accept because we believe that the people are deserving of what they get. And if we actually have a better vision of our society, what built it, that all the inequality we see, it's not about little black kids not caring about education. Black people are the only people who had to fight just for the legal right to read and write. The first institutions we built out of slavery were schools and churches. So don't tell me we don't value education. We know we do. But if that's the narrative that we get, then we then support policies that maintain those structures. So I became a journalist because I want to help us understand a more truer narrative of all of the injustices that we accept. So I thank you for this award. And my last remark is to you, Dr. Constance. If you want to have that red hair, you can get it just like I do in a bottle.